Hello and welcome to Green Sunrise, everybody. Today we have Jordan Stringer, who is a professional football coach. He's going to tell us about his life with dyspraxia and also some other health scares and battles that he's been through. And in the middle, you have Ben, who is the sexiest, baldiest guy that I've ever known in my life, who looks like Gimli. Hey, Gimli. Hey. Welcome back, everybody. What I'm going to do is just make you aware of an event that's coming up. It's on the 6th of February. It's called Time to Talk. So it's the nation's biggest mental health conversation, and we want you to take part. So you can find the information on www.mind.org.uk. So that's www.mind.org.uk. So, what is Time to Talk Day? Well, Time to Talk Day is an annual awareness day held at the beginning of February. It's a day for us all to start a conversation about mental health. Talking about mental health isn't easy, obviously, but a conversation has the power to change lives. So, Time to Talk is run by Mind and Rethink Mental Illness, and it's also in partnership with the Co op. So, I hear you ask, how can we start a conversation? Well, you don't need to have a huge host of events to get a conversation going on Time to Talk Day. Just remember, every conversation matters. Some ideas: you could start checking in with a friend, pop a poster up on a community notice board, even host a coffee and chat in your local community centre, put some posters up in a school, run a lunch and learn in your office, and also, obviously, text a friend or call a friend. It's that simple. So that's Time to Talk Day, the 6th of February this year.
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that, guys? Anything important? Anything like that?
I think it's it's okay to not be okay. Mental health is very important, and if you can find that one person that you can trust, don't have to be in direct connection. It can be anyone that you feel that you can open up to. Talking is the best therapy.
That's spot on, mate. It's okay to not be okay. I love that saying. It's one of my favourites. So, what we'll do now, we'll move on a bit from childhood. Obviously, there's a wee bit of childhood within it because it started back then. So, what we're going to do is find out from you about the testicular cancer stuff.
Yeah, what a whirlwind of emotions again, I suppose. So, going on age 11, I was feeling unusual pains somewhere that I don't know. I remember, for one time that I really remember, to be honest with you, Will and Ben, is that I went on a bike ride with my mum and I came home and I was in a bit of discomfort with down below. And I said, something's not right. But, I didn't make a note of it again. I was just putting it down to my stomach or whatever. And she said, okay, we'll see how you are, etc. As time gone on, it was getting more and more painful and it was getting uncomfortable where I couldn't sit down properly. And I had to open up to my mum about it because, again, I wasn't attending school
Mm.
because of that pain and I felt it was quite a personal issue. And she said, Jordan, you got to talk to me. And I opened up that I was getting pain, but it was down below. So it took that I went to see my GP. My GP referred me to my local hospital after a wait because it's not a quick wait on the NHS, as we all know, unfortunately.
Mm.
And the consultant did like an ultrasound, and he said in these exact words to me, age 11, and this was coming after, not long after the teacher episode, it's a very high chance you've got cancer, Jordan. So I was like, and I said, first thing I said, and I freaked out, I went, I'm going to die. Am I going to die? And he went, well, we need to do more tests and everything like that. But I'm going to refer it back to your GP and everything like that, and we'll go from there. So again, I come home, I was again bubbling up, and I said to Mum, I'm going to die. Oh no, Mum, I'm very young and everything like this. And she said, well, let's see what they all come back with, and then we'll have to take it from there. And we'll be with you and everything like that, but we'll have to take it back to your GP. So I went to my GP. He got back to me and he said, I think we need to refer you to London, a London hospital, for them to, like a paediatrician,
Yeah.
to get their opinion on things. And then if they want to do any tests, we'll see what they say. So again, waited a little way. And it came a sense that, sorry?
Sorry, you were 11 at this point?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
11, yeah. So I, yeah, I've got the date through the post that Mum told me, and she said, "Good news is, Jordan, you have a day off school." Even though I was relieved because it got to a stage that I was in so much pain, gents, that I had to wear jogging bottoms to school. I had to carry a pillow around with me in school. And you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Yeah.
The kids were going to pick on me.
Aye.
They went, "Why you got a pillow? Why are you wearing joggers?" And I couldn't answer that because it's such a private matter, like, obviously, you know.
Mm.
But that's why I say wet for school sort of nipped it in the bud, and it was getting so in, intense for students that it took all my tutors to say, "Leave Jordan alone. It's his own personal business. I'm sure if he wants to talk to you, he will talk to you.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
don't be intrusive. And if you keep on being intrusive, then I'm going to send you to detention after school because it's just not on." So
Aye.
they nipped it in for bud straight away. And again, that made me feel a bit better in that respect, you know, because I was aware of the situation that was going on. So in the end, I did go up to London, had for checks, saw a consultant, and he went to me, "Jordan, I'm telling you now, you don't have cancer." And my mum was like, "Well, why don't Jordan have cancer?" Because another consultant said that he had cancer. "You don't have cancer. It's just markers for cancer. So we need to keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't develop. But I can reassure you, it's not cancer." So obviously that brought a lot of weight off our shoulders.
Mm.
But I said to him, "What is causing this pain then?" Because, you know, and how he explained it to me then was it's microcalcification. So again, marker for cancer. It's even though it's not cancer, but it's like sandpaper rubbing together down there, and it's causing that friction, and that was causing for pain. So it that gave an answer to me. But again, I had to go around school pretty much all the time, still with my joggers and pillow around with me. And as I say, the students just eased off in the end. And year after year, I had a day out of school that they was doing checks. A day out of school to have checks and everything like that. And he said, Jordan, I'm delighted to tell you, it's not progressed. You're fine. You can go about your normal life. Just be mindful of pain relief, etc. You know, and anything that you feel abnormal. And then he told me for technique to check for any lumps or bumps down there and everything like that. But this was the issue that I had as well, gents. Because I'm not very good with the coordination element, they used to say to me, "Well, this is what you do, and you check like that with lump and everything like that." I was like, "Huh?" You know, it's not like I'm asking you to literally
You can have better ones.
show me, you know what I mean? It was like,
Aye.
Whoops, that's not what made you feel.
exactly. It was just, you know, and I was trying. I said, "I'm not doing it right," and then it was sort of manifesting in my mind, I suppose, of I'm not doing it right, and what they're going to think of me, and everything like that, you know. But they used to do it for me when I did go for checks, and he said, "From for checks, I can tell fun, but we'll still do an ultrasound regardless." So right up until the age of 18, I was having yearly checks. Now, with that, again, at the age of 11, he said it was maybe that's why there's a bit of confusion because, again, that's when you hit puberty at that age as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
All them different factors, and like I say, till the age of 18. So when it got to age 13, he said, "I'm happy, everything's okay, I can discharge you. If you need to come back, you'd have to be under the adult team, obviously. But we're happy how things are. So, and if it's not developed, we're not worried anymore at this present time." So, again, real relief. And then it came to being late 19, early 20. I was starting to get discomfort again down below. I tried doing the self check, but I wasn't doing it right still, and whatever. So I went to my GP, and he said, "Oh, you know, we'll get an ultrasound." Ultrasound come back that it was just a calcification again, but for calcification, instead of it being little bits, it spread quite a bit. So he said, "We do need to keep an eye on that just to be sure, but it's still not cancer, if you like." Anyway, came to 21 and I was having real pain down there. So I was referred back to a team in London that was under for hospital when I was younger. So I saw this adult consultant and I was in so much pain and I was quite unwell in itself anyway. And I needed morphine for pain and everything like that, which again, you don't want to be at that age. And he said to me on that appointment, "I can feel something's wrong. I do need to book an ultrasound for you, but come and see me again in 6 months' time." I thought, what the fuck? Like, you know, you're telling me something's not right, but see you again in 6 months' time. How does that work out?
That's 6 months that a lot could happen.
Aye.
Yeah, exactly. And it was running through my mind. I was thinking, did he mean 6 weeks? And it was just a slip of the tongue, like, you know, in that respect. And he went, no, 6 months.
That's crazy.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, I suppose he thinks everything's all right. Wait until the ultrasound comes through, I suppose. Anyway, I had an appointment with my GP for next day because he wanted me to feed back what that consultant said. And he said, that don't sound right, Jordan. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to send you for an ultrasound here locally, and you might get, I'm going to do it down for 2-week pathway. Not that I'm saying it's cancer, but we just need to be sure, And I said, okay, Anyway, I got an appointment that come through very quick, and this was obviously before COVID time, so I was lucky in that respect. And it's a day that it just felt, excuse language, gents, but it felt like a proper mind fuck, because I got up and I thought my appointment was, say, 10:30. I rocked up there and they said to me, no, it was 8:30. So I was 2 hours late. And I thought, I need this scan. And they said, no, it's all right. We'll speak to him and see if he's still happy to do it. Spoke to him. And he said, yeah, I'm still happy to do it. So that was one relief. Gone in there, having a scan. And he went, Jordan, I'm going to tell you, I think I found the cause of your problem. Oh, yeah. I'm 90% sure it's cancer. I'm pretty sure it's a tumour. 90% sure it's a tumour.
Jesus.
So what went through your head at that point? What were you thinking?
I actually, again, these words, shit. I've gone through all these years that they've said everything's okay, but then part of me was thinking, it can't be right because they said to me I had that when I was younger and it didn't turn out that it was. So it's denial, I suppose, of the situation. I said, no. And in a way, I went, no, that can't be right. He went, I think you find it is, Jordan. And he actually got on his screen and he showed me where he thought the tumour was.
Yeah.
And he pointed to it. I went, oh shit, yeah, that does look like a tumour, doesn't it? And
Is
then,
that, sorry, is that a slow? Was that a slow growing tumour for 11 to 20?
say that again, sorry?
Was that a slow growing tumour from 11 to 20? Then?
No. Well, I don't think it was. I can't really answer on that. But
Right.
he said to me, the next thing was, because there was my granddad out in the waiting room because my mum was at work. My home dynamic, so I lived with mum, lived with grandparents. Mum was at work, Nan was at home. Granddad decided to come with me for a male perspective on things for support. So he said, what we need to do now is book you in for this operation, and it could be any time now within the next 2 weeks. So be prepared to get that call. So I went, okay. He said, is there anyone waiting outside? I went, yeah, my granddad. He said, okay, I'll have a word with him. So I've gone out there, and granddad said, like, everything all right? He was in there a little while. I went, no, no. He went, what? And then that sonographer come out. He said, do you mind if I have a quick word with you, please? So he took my granddad in, showed him on the screen, said the same words as he did to me. Granddad come out and he went in these exact words to me. He went, fucking hell. All these years we've gone through and there's been nothing. And it seems like you've got something now. He said, I can't believe it. He said, surely, has it been there a while? Who knows? And I went, I don't know. He said, let's just go home because Nan will be worrying and you need to phone your mum and blah, blah, blah. I went, yeah, I think we need to. And on that way home, I felt obviously like someone hit me over the head with something, I got home to my Nan. First thing she said, where you been worried about you and everything like that. Nan, you need to sit down. Where you been? I've been worried. Why haven't I had a call? Nan, you need to sit down. Well, are you going to talk to me? Yes, Nan, you need to sit down. So sat down, told her, and she said exactly the same words. She went, no, 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 that can't be right. And then she started crying like, that can't be right after all these years. I said, Nan, I think it is. And my granddad went, I think it is, Patsy. So she went, oh, no. And then she gave me a big hug. You need to phone your mum because she's been worried about you as well. So phone mum. She was at work. Then same thing. No, that can't be. That just can't be. I went, Mum, I think it is. And I said, not being funny, Mum. I've got this, but first thing on my mind said, I've got football training tonight, Mum. I need to go to that. And she went, you can't go with your frame of mind like the way it is at the moment. I said, Mum, I need to go. So, and she said, okay, well, I'll come home, take you, and we'll have a chat on the way. And eventually, I had the training session again. It was like a complete simulation, gents. I got to training. Lads were doing their lap round the pitch and everything like that and doing their stretches. And then out of nowhere, even though it was really cold, it was snowing so heavy, it was like blizzard-like conditions. And I thought to myself, what the fuck is this day? You know, this
Bizarre day.
exactly
Yeah.
this what? You know, and then I was very subdued throughout the session. Lads did their thing, they went off, and then my other coaches that were with me, and they went, Jordan, what's up? You're very subdued. And I told them, I've got cancer, I think. Oh no, is there anything we can do? No, I'm all right. Anyway, it came to the operation. I had to have the operation cancelled twice, bearing in mind, because they come up to me, tell me all the risk factors, then they said, oh, theatre's been taken up by an emergency. You can't have the operation today. And that happened twice. And my head was spinning then. I thought, will I ever
Can
get
I
this
ask,
toxic in at me?
at any point during it, was it just all confusion, or did you have any sort of clarity at all?
That's a good point, because after I had that scan, I did get a call from my GP, and he did say to me, Jordan, can you talk? Yes. It's been told, well, we've been reported to us that we think you've got cancer, testicular cancer. So if they've had all the correlations and communications, then it was
Yeah.
sort of hemming in, but I was still so blinded by it, but I couldn't focus on it. I was just in
Mm.
disbelief more than anything, Will, you know? I couldn't seem to get my head
Yeah.
around it. I was so numb
Understandably
to it.
so.
I just thought that just get on with the operation, like, you know? But I was motionless. I didn't cry at all
Mm.
in the sense after, you know, with all that leading up to the operation, even though I had the scan and I was a bit bubbly after that. After that, I didn't show any emotion whatsoever. I didn't cry one bit. I got to the operation. It come to the operation day, and they said, "Right, we're taking you down now." And Mum, because they was taking me at 8:30 in the morning, I said, "My mum's not here yet, and she wanted to be there for the start of visiting." And they said, "Can't wait for your mum. You've got to go down now." I said, "I want to speak to my mum before I go down." "No, you can't.
Mm.
We've got to take you down now. Otherwise, you're not going to have your operation today." So again, that was again a
Yeah.
very upsetting circumstance to be in. But yeah, I had the operation, and it was very strange because again, I had no emotion. I felt better in myself in some physical symptoms, like I was before with the cancer was found. I had like chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue,
Mm.
other bits and pieces that come with it. But that sort of cleared up not long after the operation. But one thing after another from that operation was just a catastrophe. And I'm going to say about it in this chat, gents, because I hope no one else goes through the same as I did. So with that, they took the tumour out. I was reported after a few days that they said from what they picked up on a scan to when with the tumour that they removed, in that short space of time, it doubled in size. So I was
Jesus.
very fortunate in that respect that it did get removed then. Thing is, they said to me, it's in debate here at the hospital because in these words, we can't come to an agreement whether you need chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So we've got to have a lot of MDT meetings, like multidisciplinary team meetings, to discuss what's the best case for you.
That's
Because
crazy.
then another doctor come to me and said, you're going to have at least one dose of chemo to reduce the chances of it coming back again. And then someone else come back to me the following day and said, nope, you're not having it at all. And now I was thinking, again, with chemo, you go through that in your mind. Gonna lose hair, gonna, you know, everything that comes with chemo, you know.
Mhm.
And I just was overwhelmed by it. And then it came to that they said, right, we can't give you a prosthetic. Why not? Just can't give you a prosthetic to make you feel better mentally that you've had to deal with
Mm.
it. So I said, what about my chances with children then? And they went, well, it's going to be very, you still can have it, but we've just got to keep an eye on it that it doesn't develop the other side and everything. So I said, in terms of storing any sperm, can I store any sperm, please? And the feedback I got, gents, was again abhorrent. They come back to me and they said, you cannot have sperm banking because you do not meet the criteria.
What's the criteria?
Exactly. And my GP in these words said, "What the hell? Like
That's
that
crazy.
is just shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you not meet the criteria for that?" So that left him puzzled. And I said, "Surely I do meet the criteria." "No, you don't." I said, "But I've had like a tumour down below, you know." And I was having all sorts of questions. Then it was a month after the operation again. For whatever reason, I was starting to get chest pains back again. I thought, oh God, this is something that I need to keep on top of.
Mm.
Went to the GP, went to my oncologist. The oncologist come back to me and she went, well, have you bumped into a door? Have you fell over? I went, yes, I got dyspraxia, but I'm not that clumsy, you know. And she went, well, are you sure you didn't bump into a door? I said, well, I'd have known that if I would have bumped into a door, you know. And it came to that I had, because I was starting to then bring up blood and everything. I thought, this is not right. Short of breath, bringing up blood, and it's a lot of it. And no one's taking any action, even though my GP's tried. So he referred me to chest physicians. They did a scan on me, and then they said nothing's come back. I went then to see a haematologist to do with blood and everything like that. And the haematologist went to me in these words. He went, Jordan, yes, has anyone ever told you that you've got 3 fractured ribs, by the way? I went, no. Is that why I'm getting chest pain? And he just nodded his head like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So why has no one told me that? And he went, well, with the other consultants and everything, they should have picked it up because it was on the system. And I went, well, at least I've got an answer, but what a weird way of getting an answer. You know?
For hematologist as well.
Exactly. And then I went back to the oncologist and said, right, found out I got 3 fractured ribs. Why didn't you pick that up in any scans that I've had? And she went, who told you that? I said, I'm not going to tell you told me that. It's none of your business. You know, that's only for me to know because I'm not going to throw them under the bus. And she got a bit huffy and everything like that. Another time I was having problems with my left testes, a bit of pain, and they classified it as phantom pain. But for woman, because it was a woman oncologist, but there was my main oncologist that was just sitting next door. I asked for Mel to check it for me because I would rather Mel check it. And she went in there. She come back out and said, he won't check it, so I've got to do it then. So I felt really peeved off with the whole situation, like, you know.
Mm.
And
You
even
imagine
with
if that was the other way about, though.
Yeah.
Imagine
sorry,
you imagine that was the other way about, though, and it was a woman requesting a women doctor for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, a cervical exam or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the guy just turned around and went, well, the other day said no, so you're going to have to, you know
Deal
what I
with
mean?
me.
Exactly that. I mean, it come to a situation that I was in wards because there was one time that they thought I'd suspected torsion down below, so they did an operation. But again, I was in A&E then. A doctor came to me with that remaining testy, and he went, "I think it's torsion, so we need to do an exploratory." Okay, if you feel so, but I'm not confident because he said, "Well, you could lose function of that testy. You know, you've only got one testy left. It's a big risk." And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And children and everything like that. I've not stored any sperm yet, etc., etc.
Mm.
And he, in these exact words, gents, again, he went, well, if you don't go ahead with that, I'll let that be on your head. So I thought,
Fuck hell.
You've had
okay,
the most comforting doctors in the world, by the
I
way.
love it.
yeah.
Jesus.
So I said, I went, okay, fuck it, I'll have it then. You know? So I had it, and he said, it come back after recovering from the anaesthetic and that. No, you don't have torsion, but we have pinned it back. And I was like, but you pinned it back, but there's no torsion. Okay, that don't make sense. But anyway, then it came to a year after, same problem, but then again, not being rude, but it was a foreign doctor, didn't understand me very well. And I said, I've had this operation, suspected torsion. He said the exact same words, I'll let it be on your head if it is a torsion. And I went, thanks a lot. But I've told you, I know it's not a torsion. You know, I just want to make sure, again, that there's nothing untoward down there, like a tumour or anything. You know, can't you even do a scan? He went, no, we'll only find out through doing a torsion exploratory and everything. I said, I'm not having that. And he said, well, I'm making the decision for you. You're having it. You're going in theatre in the next hour. So I'm like,
Wow.
what? Even though there's me protesting, my mum protesting. And then it came back after the op and he said, oh, yeah, we found that it was pinned from before, so we didn't need to do it. And I said, didn't I tell you that?
Wow.
So I thought, shit, okay.
You
And
could have
then,
sued.
to be fair, we was really on that cusp of things because this is where it's got to a situation now. So in this current day, the journey's not ended because that pain's eased. But then I've gone into after that second op because I think they excuse language again, fucked up. I went into bladder retention a few days after that operation. I had like a litre that I was in retention.
Fuck.
And I was going to be discharged, and the urologist actually said, okay, you can go home. I said, pardon? I'm in retention. Okay, well, we'll stick a catheter in, and then you can go home and then come back for an outpatient appointment. I went, what? And then in the end, Mum had to have a word on my behalf, and that's when all the COVID time was starting and everything, with lockdowns, and people couldn't visit and everything like that.
Crazy.
So I couldn't fend for myself. I was in there for a few days, and a doctor come on forward to me. He went, right, Mr. Stringer. And I said, he said, is there anything concerning you? I said, well, yeah, I'm getting these bald patches on my beard here. I'm losing hair, actually. And he went, He said, you had chemotherapy, didn't you, from your cancer operation? I went, no, I didn't. He said, yes, you did. I went, no, I didn't. He said, yes, you did. I went, no, I bloody didn't. And he went, yes, you did. He said, I don't appreciate your time with me. I was like, well, I'm telling you now, I would have known if I had chemotherapy. So he gone away for a minute, and he come back and he went, oh, my apologies. Patient next door had chemotherapy.
What?
What?
Yeah, he got the wrong notes.
And that's the kind of apology he gives you. He just gives you, oh, sorry, I'm bad.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
like, arguing with you like that.
It was like, what the hell? So in this current day, again, like I say, testes pain has eased, thank God. But this is where it goes. But now I'm going open about this recent experience. So it gone to a situation last January. I found a lump in my breast. I thought, oh, fucking hell. Here we go again. Went to my GP. He says, oh, yeah, I do feel a lump there, but we need to keep an eye on it, make sure that it doesn't go down. And I said, can't you just go and send me for tests to make sure that it isn't anything given my past history? He said, let's give it a few weeks, see if it goes down. I went, all right, So I gone to that appointment. I've eventually gone to be referred for a scan, and sorry, I didn't go for a scan first. I went to A&E because it was giving me a lot of jip. I went to see this first nurse, and she was again rude as hell, and she went, Jordan, what are you doing here? I said, well, I think I've got a lump in my breast, and I've had testicular cancer in the past. I need it checked out. Well, you're wasting our time. Can't you ask your GP? And I went, pardon? I said, in all fairness, in all due respect to you, but you're just a nurse. Can I see a doctor, please? Because this is what a hospital's for.
Shots fired.
And she went, well, he's going to say the same thing as me. That what's the point of you being here? I went, well, tough. If he says it, he says it. But, anyway, saw a doctor, felt it. And they went, well, can feel something the size of a 50p coin here, which is quite big in itself. And then my mind was racing. Then I thought, oh no, here we go again, this journey and so on and so forth. And they said, we'll send you to the breast team. You'll have a scan with them for next week for suspected cancer. And then we'll see you from there. So I was seeing literally, they phoned me just as I come out A&E, and they said, oh, can you come in 2 days' time? So, oh, yeah, okay, fine. So I went in, had my scan. It come back, there was no lump there. But this lump still remains, and it's called gynecomastica, where it's like tissue that builds up in the breast. But it can feel like a lump. So I said, what do you do about it? Well, nothing really. Oh, okay. So, and he said, I need your GP to do some hormone tests. That's the only thing that I can suggest. Okay. So I went to have my hormones checked. My GP called me in and he said, Jordan, your testosterone's really low. And this is high and that's low and so on and so forth. I said, oh, that could be the issue. Yes, it could be. I'm going to refer you to London. I'm going to refer you to Colchester because your hormones are over the place. A local hospital. See what they say. Give you some treatment. Sent for referral pretty much straight away. Actually, in space of a week, I got a letter through saying they rejected my referral. How does that make sense? Right. So
That's crazy.
my GP asked me to go and see him. He said, might as well send you back to London. They know you there. Go back there. Went to London. Saw for consultant, and he said, Jordan, this is actually quite serious. I went, okay, what do you need me to do? He said, can you, so I suppose this is quite open, but can you do a sperm sample for me, please? In, you come back another day and do a sperm sample. So I said, yeah, sure, fine. Gone to do a sperm sample. And then I got a phone call and they said, we're ever so sorry, but we can't find any sperm in your sample. So I thought, oh shit. Does that mean now I'm infertile? What does that mean? So can you come and see the consultant? So I went to see the consultant, and the consultant said to me then, yes, you do need treatment, you need HRT, so on and so forth, blah, 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 but we need to take it one step at a time. Need you to do some more bloods. So I had some more bloods. That came back still with the same levels being low and everything like that. He said, technically, I think you're deemed, bearing in mind, I'm just going to put this out there, I should have said it earlier. I did have sperm samples stored that London did for me in the end because Colchester wouldn't do it. But he said to me, these sperm samples and your chances now of having children naturally, very, very slim, Jordan. So I went, pardon, I can't have kids. He said, it's got to be for your IVF route. So I went, how many cycles of it? And he said, 12, but they're not for best of quality, I have to add. So it'd be touch and go when you do try with a partner. So I can't guarantee. So
That's
I went,
Did
oh,
see when
okay.
you lost your testicle through cancer? Why was the protocol not either chemotherapy, radiation, and then after you had like cancer free that you were put on HRT immediately, put on testosterone replacement therapy immediately? You know what I mean? Because you're then one down essentially, so you need to replace what that's going to obviously naturally lose you.
Yeah, because what they do is they don't tell you you're actually 25% less testosterone. Like I had that myself when I had the torsion myself. And then years later I found out as you get older, you're naturally 25% down testosterone because you've had the one testicle removed. Which is like kicking the balls, literally. So it
Yeah,
is.
it is literally, and I think this is it though, gents, is it got to where this is for recent appointment I've had, and he said, right, I've spoken to the professor that's quite senior here, and he said we wanted to do an operation to extract some more sperm so then we could store it for a later date for you, just so you got it there back in reserve, you know. I said, okay, that sounds like a plan. That got cancelled before Christmas. I had no reason why, but to see him again like a few weeks ago. So went to see him a few weeks ago, and he said, spoken it through with this professor. I'm so sorry to say, but we're not going to do it because your remain testes, Jordan, is just failing. It's not functioning. So we don't want to do any more trauma down below than we have to. So yeah, I thought, wow, okay, HRT. How do we go about that? He said, thing is, go on HRT and your sperm quality will reduce even more. Then you will definitely become infertile.
Why? How would that happen?
I don't know for full facts, to be honest with you, but he just said that it can. I think because my testes is failing and everything like that, I'd need it all the time. That's what he was saying. But he said the thing is again, it's different course of action. So I've had to go up to London today to have bloods done again. But he said the best case scenario is that I'd have to have one tablet a week for the rest of my life to boost the levels up. Worst case scenario, if the bloods come back with just a testosterone, is that I'd have to have gel that I'd top up myself every day for a month. But then after that, I'd have to have injections every 2 weeks for the rest of my life because the testes is failing. And we've put two and two together and we've said that I think that's down to all them operations that I've had for the unnecessary torsion operation.
Mm.
It's caused a whole host of issues. And another thing that I had to go through as well. I know it's, we're going on a lot here, gents, but
Okay.
Sorry,
I
man.
had to go through a time here where I went again another spell of that I had to have a catheter put in, and this was going back 2023, and it was one day woke up. Couldn't wait. Thought, fuck, here we go again. Went to GP. He referred me to community nurse. Went to community nurse. She said, "See how you go for the rest of the day. If you don't go, then you have to go to A&E to have a catheter put in." I went to A&E. I had to go to A&E that night. Gents, again, another story of hell and bedlam. I had that catheter in for nearly 3 months, No one was checking it, apart from that when I had to have it changed when it was blocked or anything. And there was one time that I went to A&E, it was blocked. An A&E doctor saw me, took me into a cubicle, and he looked around like he didn't know what he was doing. So he took that catheter out, bleeding everywhere,
Fuck.
and he said, "Right, put another one in, and you can go back home." So I went, "Aren't you just going to call a doctor down?" "No, they won't come down and see you, Jordan." "Why not? Can't I speak to someone even on a mental health front, because this is really getting me down?" "Nope, they won't come down even." "What? Why do you need someone from mental health to come down and see you?"
Because you was traumatised my fucking genitals.
Exactly,
So,
and it was just like, huh?
have you
Yeah,
ever
so
thought about suing them?
that is a path I think we could be going down, because when we spoke about consultant, he
Because
said
I
it
would.
could be that for catheters cause trauma as well, that with the,
Yeah,
other
definitely,
side of
mate.
things.
I would sue
So,
the arse off them.
but I mean, this is it. There was one who took it to the head of the hospital, right, about this all with the catheter and everything like that. And they went, and I spoke to the head, and bearing in mind, he said, "Come on Teams." So I tried logging onto Teams. I can't access Teams that well compared to Zoom. I find it a bit more difficult, if you like. I don't know about you, gents. But I sent an email saying, I'm 5 minutes late to the chief of the hospital. And I got an email back saying, "Hurry up. If you don't turn up in the next few minutes, he'll go because he's got other things to attend to." I turned up eventually. My signal went down or whatever. I sent another email back saying, "My signal's gone down on here using data on my phone. Can I set up a Zoom link?" "Yes, okay." Set the Zoom link up. And I'm not kidding you. Every time I was talking to him, he was just looking at his clock, looking at his watch, and everything like that. And he went, I've got other things to sort out, Mr. Stringer, but I'm telling
Yeah,
you
no.
about." And he said, "You know what, Jordan? I can't even bump you up for list. If you're asking me to bump you up for list, I can't even do that." I said, "Well, I'm not asking you to bump me up for list." And he went, "Well, that's down to each department." I was like, "Oh, Jesus." Then there was a time that with FND, functional neurological disorder, brief outline on that. I got diagnosed with that late 2021 because I was rushed into hospital with a suspected stroke because I lost weakness down one side of the body, vision went, etc. Was put in a stroke ward. And yeah, that was a pretty scary time because, again, I wasn't really with it because even though I was in for stroke wards, in the end, I was doing research for a bit and my odds were high and everything like that. And they ruled out a bleed on the brain and they got me round on physio when I was a bit more with it a couple of days after. But my leg was dragging across the floor and I couldn't do anything about that. And the nurses actually said to me then, gents, they went, "Well, why are you dragging your leg across the floor?" I went, "Well, I can't help it." And they went, "Stop faking it." I went, "I'm not faking it."
I
So
would have smacked them if that was me. What the
yeah,
fuck
so
was
she
it?
said, pretty much, everything's okay with you. Come back later. Stop over delving into it, and it's all in your mind. You're getting over anxious,
Wow.
I
and
would
even though
sue the arse off them.
You know,
exactly, but there was no bleed on the brain. But thankfully, there wasn't.
if I hear in the next year or two that the NHS has lost a £1 billion lawsuit to a member of the public, I'll know it's you because they owe you some amount of money for the heart, physical and
Big
mental that they've put you through. But
To
listen,
be
it's been actually really nice to chat to you, man, and get to know you. We'll pass you on my socials and we'll chat a bit more and stuff, and like we'll have a group chat and whatever. But again, really nice to meet you, and let's do this again sometime. And sorry I need to go, lads, but
That's
I
all
hope
good.
my contribution's been good.
No, that's good, man.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, appreciate it, and thank you.
It was amazing listening to your story, man. It's fucking a hell of a ride you've had for 27 years, mate, honestly. But
Well,
looking at
yeah,
keep
I'm
right,
hoping to share the story because I don't want other people to go through the same
Yeah.
100%.
situation. You know what I
What you
mean?
talk about. May you
Uh,
talk, the better it helps. If it helps only one person, mate, you've done that one person a favour. You know what I mean? Doesn't
yeah,
matter
thank
who
you.
it helps, mate. As long as it does one person, then you've done the humane thing and you've helped somebody.
Yeah, thank you, mate. And it's been great meeting you as well.
Thanks for coming
Right.
on my first podcast, Ben. I
No
love
worries,
you,
mate.
son. I love
Anytime,
you.
mate. I love you too, brother. Right, take care. See you
Take care,
later.
buddy.
Yeah, man,
So
definitely.
after all that, yeah.
Definitely too. Ba, ba, ba. Make it small. There we go. That looks nice. So that's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's when I look back on it, I just feel like, I mean, I didn't even say to Ben, but there was another time that I'm going to say this again because it's mental health and it's what we're saying. It's very important here, Will. But I don't know if you've ever heard of it or whatever, but pregabalin.
What's that?
So they say it can help with pain levels, right? But
Right.
actually, it can also be an antidepressant.
Okay.
So I was put on that once when I was in a lot of pain, again down below, and literally I'd gone to hospital because I started getting hallucinations
Nice.
and went. And this was in COVID times, bearing in mind. So I had to, even though people wasn't allowed, my mum
Yeah.
needed to be with me for moral support. Got called in. Nurse looked at me and she went, "What are you doing here then?" So I told her. I was experiencing hallucinations, think it's through the medication, whatever it's causing it. Well, are you suicidal? No. But I'm just having hallucinations and I'm mixed up in my mind at the moment. Well, there's COVID in this bay here, there's COVID in that bay over there, there's COVID in that bay over there, there's COVID in this hospital. So stop wasting our time. And I said to her, "Excuse me, I'm experiencing mental health and I needed to talk to someone about it, you
Yeah.
know?" And she said, so she said, "What other symptoms are you getting?" So I told her. She said, and then she just gone on and said, "I've been in this job for 27 years and you're telling me my job. How dare you? How dare you?"
That's a
I went,
disgrace.
"Pardon?" And in the end, like my mum said, "I know you're struggling, Jordan, but we need to get up and we might as well just go, because she's
Yeah.
not listening to you." So I got up from my seat and she got up before I did and my mum did. She opened the door and when we got out, she went, "All right, bye, bye." And another thing that it's going to be quite triggering this, but she did say in that conversation as well, "What do you want me to do then? Send you to a mental institute? Do you want to be in a ward with a lot of other mental health patients and everything like that? Is that what you really want?" I went, "No, no, not really." So she said,
Understand.
"Well, why are you here then?" So all these different experiences, it fuels, and
Yeah.
I don't understand when it comes to, I don't know, just people, or there's no sensitivity, it don't seem like, within the healthcare system anymore at all.
It's crazy. Well, what I'll do is move on a wee bit more. Get a wee bit about your adult life.
Yeah,
And then a wee bit about the coaching, and then.
sweet, mate. Okay.
All right. So, tell us a wee bit about your adult life.
Roller coaster, obviously, with all them things that's gone on health wise.
Yep.
But I mean, with football, that's been my outlet, I suppose.
Hmm.
Which we'll cover about for coaching. I'm sure this will overlap with it, won't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
It was age of, again, GCSE years. I had that one teacher, PE teacher, and it was, again, I couldn't take part in the lesson, but he said to me, "Jordan, I know you can't take part, but would you like me to help teach you some things with football, like when I was doing like football lesson or whatever, get the ropes of it and
Hmm.
setting up and what drills you can do and everything like that." So I said, "Yeah, okay, that sounds nice." He said, "Do you mind helping me set up these cones?" And he told me where to put them. And at the start, I was like, "Oh God, they're here, there, and everywhere." Like it looked like a right mess. But he said, "No, it's okay." And he walked me back, and then they was doing like a game, and he said, "So, what do you notice from this game that you're seeing in your class?" And the first word that comes to my mind was compact. I said, "It's too compact." Like, he went, "That's
Yeah.
a very big word." But he said, "That's a very good word." So I went, "Well, yeah, it's too tight and everything." And then he said, "What else do you see?" I said, "Well, no passing, no movement, everything like that." And he went, "That's very fascinating." He went, "Have you thought about what you want to do when you like leave school, leave college and that?" I went, "Not really." He said, "One thing that I think would be of a benefit for you is doing your first coaching badge, and that will give you a lot of confidence. See how you get on. See how you feel."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't feel I can do that. Being in a class and because of dyspraxia and everything like that, and there'll be adults on the course. I don't know how people's going to be with me on that." And he went, "Well, just see how you feel. Think about it." So it came to college, and when I turned 16, that they were saying about looking for somewhere to volunteer once a week or whatever to get that on your CV, if you like, and
Yeah.
everything like that, and build up confidence. And my college personal tutor, she went, "Do you know what you want to do, Jordan?" I went, "Not sure." And it came back, and it made me think, I know, shots. And what shots is it was a lunchtime group for, which we've spoken about, I think, Will, for your school's help out towards success.
Yeah.
And it was a lunchtime group that you could do football, you could do anything in that respect, you know.
Yeah.
And it was again for SEN students, like. And I said, "Oh, I could go back to shots maybe an hour during the lunchtime if my timetable allows it with college." And she said, "That's a good idea." So they made the inquiry on my behalf, saying, would they mind just going back there, observe what the teachers do and everything like that. And I said, "Yeah,
Mm.
why not? We'd love to have Jordan back." So I've gone back there, and it started giving me a bit of confidence because they said you can run your own little session to start with if you want, just to get a bit of a feel, and someone will be observing over me and support me in any way. And I
Mm.
quite enjoyed it. And that's when I thought, remember what Mr. Morgan used to say to me, level 1 badge. So I applied for it and I did it, and I was shitting it to start with because, again, of a different group and everything. But I'm not looking back now, Will. That was the best decision that I've made in my life. It changed my life so much in the sense of outlooking on people, the way the world works, realize that not everyone's so bad, you know. There is kind souls out there, people that will help you if you've got them additional needs or whatever.
Yeah.
And it came
So,
to yeah,
just quickly, explain the picture. Grassroots Football Award.
that's right. So basically, from that, I received Essex Coach of the Year in 2018. It was
Yeah.
with a grassroots club that I set up myself. Was doing it from 7-a-side, gradual transition to 11-a-side.
Okay.
But it was players, and if there was any parents, because of the age, I suppose, and everything like that, that was working with, they said, and they've recognised me, I suppose, in that respect. You know, I was very fortunate. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't expect it one bit. But it was a huge honour and privilege. But again, I wouldn't. It's not. I've looked at it in a sense. It wasn't me. It was a
Mm.
whole cohesive unit. Everyone come together for that,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have been able to have done anything in that sort of field with coaching in that first coaching pathway journey if it wasn't for them. Yeah, it made a difference. You know.
And what was the obviously you done a bit of coaching that when you were younger, and then going into your adult life. What was the opportunities you gained from that?
So yeah, building from that with Ivory, with Grassroots Club that was created, I then got opportunities with Chelmsford City to work as semi-pro with their under 17s and under 18s. Big age as a coach, really. Um, full of energy, full of buzz.
Mm.
First season was very difficult because I remember I'd gone in there 3 weeks before the season started. I went to the chairman that appointed me and I went to him, "So how many players have I got on my books for my first training session?" And he went, "3." I went, "3 players? Oh, so I need to build a squad then?" He said, "Yeah, you need to build a squad and you need to at least get 13 in by the first match day, otherwise we get fined." So I was like, "Oh, thanks for the pressure, like, you know."
Nice.
Thrown into the deep end, and in the end got players in, but they was all different positions. But you had to put like a striker at centre
Yeah.
back, say, or whatever, and it was fitting people in at the time. And I remember again that first game was really weird because we put people all different positions, but 11-side football at half time in that first game it was 4-4. I've never seen anything like it, you know. And we was 4-1 down, like, you know. after
Yeah.
20 minutes, So it was building that, and in the end, we lost 6-4 because we didn't have enough legs on the bench to cover for
Yeah.
the rest of the game. But we took a lot of positives from that, and then the season built, and then it was just a lot of difficulties with, obviously, people being out of position, not winning games. I
Yeah.
think it took about a month for our first win to come along. Ugly as you like, but they all count. I'll say.
Of course. Point to point at it.
Exactly. So, but then after that, we've gone on a losing run again, and then I had to go through all that cancer journey. When had to go through that, had the
Yeah.
operations, someone covered for me. Then I'd gone back, first game back after everything was an 11-0 defeat, which really, really hurt.
It's a
Um,
spanking.
yeah, and especially when my head wasn't in the right place anyway. you know,
Yeah.
it was like, oh God. But then it built them sort of results, though. They build you as a coach, but they build you as a team.
Yeah.
You know what I
Build
mean? And
character.
people start to react on it and think this is not good enough or whatever. It came to like February, March. We were starting to pick up results here and there, little points here and there. And then March that year, 3 months after the cancer, my mum was taken ill. She had to have open heart surgery. So that was again another ball game completely that I had to deal with that on top of football, on top of my own health.
Yeah.
And then from there gone into under 18 for following season. And that summer, I said to my mum, I'm not going away this summer. I need to get this right. I need to get people in, rebuild. And that's what we did. Worked tirelessly throughout that summer, working with people like others, all people in the game to try and bring other bodies through. And it was a very long summer. There was times I was up until 2, 3 in the morning because I still wasn't happy and satisfied, if you like,
Yeah.
that we still didn't have enough bodies. Anyway, it came to that season, and it came to October. No, yeah, October, and we was fighting top of the league, which was a complete opposite from the previous season. Everyone was coming together, great. We had one result that knocked us to 6 start of November that year, and then unfortunately my mental health dipped when I had that mental health crisis that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So I had to take away from that, and then it came to December, ready, I suppose, try and get my feet back into it. Norman Bell had to be stopped because the COVID come along. So the
That's
season
fine.
was curtailed.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So with that, had that experience with Chelmsford under 18, worked with special educational needs students for about 4 years, that was very rewarding because it wasn't just about football, it was to build them for life in a sense of their
Yeah.
teamwork skill. And then from there, COVID eased somewhat, a year out for game. That was horrible. um, and then I got offered an opportunity with Dunmow Town, and Dunmow like said to me, "Oh, in the interview, so where do you see yourself now? Where do you see yourself in the future?" And first thing I said, "See what you got to offer here." Then I'll go from there. And they said because it was down to me whether I wanted to work with reserves or for
Yeah.
first team. So it was like a progression.
Yeah.
It was a big decision to make. So I said, "I'll come down to the training session, get a feel." And then Fiona went to me. So what is your hopes? What's your aspirations come 5 years' time? Said, said, would you like to be first team manager? Is that your hopes and aspiration? I went, I suppose so, like that, He went,
Yeah.
is it or isn't it? Like try and spoon feed it to me, saying like, you do really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, no, in actual fact, I do. He said, good, love the answer for that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, went to a training session, and it was first team in one corner, reserves in the other. I thought, well, first teams have got like a bit of a management structure there. Didn't want to disrupt that, and it was adults then, if you know what I mean. It was
Yeah.
played at a good level, and I thought after a little while out of coaching and being in a youth background a lot, it would have been a bit of a big step up for me at that
Yeah.
time. So I looked at the reserves, went over to watch reserve train, and it was lads that had just come out of youth football, under 18 football, going straight into their first season of adult football.
Yeah.
And I spoke to James, who ran for team, and I was run for team at the time, and he went, "Oh, hi, Jordan, nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. I said, "I like the look of you lads. I'm going to work with you lads if that's all right, you know. And within that, he said, great, I'd love that, you know. And within that, he said, right, everyone, Jordan's here, he's going to be working with us. And they all come up, shook my hand and everything like that. Said, welcome. The chairman of the football club was really happy with that I found somewhere. And in 12, not 12 games, we had to have, because of the COVID lockdowns, we had to play games, 2 games back to back as well.
Yeah.
Some weeks, which was again very unusual. But in 15 games, we managed to pull out 12 wins.
That's good.
And
That's
we got
spectacular.
promotion that season. So we was really
Well
happy,
done.
really glowing. Thank you. And he said, like, oh, you know, really happy and everything like that. And then first team manager was coming to me and he went, so with the reserves, is there any there that stand out that you feel could make that step up to first team, like making that communication? I said, there's a few actually, yeah. So he looked at them pre-season, and then lo and behold, I next thing I knew, the chairman come to my house and he went, Jordan, had to get me and the manager of the first team, we've parted ways. Just thought I'd let you know, like, you know, I'll keep you updated. Your place is still secure with reserves and everything like that. Happy with that. Just wanted to make you aware and a bit of clarity. So I said, no, thank you. That's all I needed to know. And then that's when I'd gone through that first retention problem after that suspected torsion, not that long after. And he come back to my house not long after when I had a catheter in. He went, and he didn't know that I had a catheter in then because it was sort of off season. And he went, Jordan, how do you feel that you would want to run for first team? And my heart just went really numb because I thought, I've got a catheter in me and I can't say yes. And I had to tell him that I had a catheter in me.
Yeah.
And he went, okay, just think on it. No stress, no pressure. Hopefully you'll be better in a few weeks and everything will be sorted. Come a few weeks later, I was still with that catheter in, and he come to me again. He said, have you, not pressuring you, but have you made your mind up? Would you like to? I said, I would say yes in a heartbeat, but I can't with the situation that I'm in at the moment. So okay, well, pre-season doesn't start for a while yet, so can give a bit of time. But he said, I've got someone in the back of my mind if it does fall through with us, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully everything will be sorted and you can sort it out. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then weeks come, and unfortunately, I still had that poxy thing in me, and I had to, with a real heavy heart, I had to say, I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Simon. I really can't. And I was, well, as I say, that was 2021, 24. So 3 years ago, 27 now. I was 24 then. And what an opportunity that would have been, like, to run a first, like, you know,
Yeah.
everything that I dreamed of. I suppose if I couldn't be involved in playing side to have managed would have been amazing, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I gone back for a reserves game when my catheter was out, and again I took control of that reserves game, first game of the season. We had only 11 players that day, and we was 1-0 down, pulled it back to 1-1, went 2-1 up, and it was right at the last kick, and the chairman was watching on, that we conceded, and it was 2-2, and that was so painful, you know, because we had chance after chance after chance, and I was visibly distraught after, and the chairman went to me, it's okay. You're doing absolutely amazing. I couldn't be prouder of you. You know, keep your head up and everything like that. And then a week after that, that's when I got on with that suspected stroke.
Fuck.
So, yeah, being away from the game in that sense was trying to help out with some background stuff with the football club. I helped, in a sense, be part of the committee of the football club, which again was another responsibility in itself, but still felt involved. And again, I have to say full credit and thanks to Simon because he was phenomenal with me, you know. But it came to end of last season because I wasn't really much there last season because there was a lot of things going on with the health situation. I had to say, no, I can't. Moving on, but thank you so much for your opportunity. And it's come back this season now. Things are a bit better apart from that personal issue that we were saying earlier. And for lad that I used to know, sorry, Simon's left Dunmer. So it's different roles there, and I thought it's best that I move on anyway myself.
Yeah.
But James, who I run for reserves with, he come to me and he said, "Oh, I'm over at this club now. Do you fancy getting involved? We've had a great working relationship from before. We've got a lot of unfinished business. Do you fancy it for this season?" And I said, "Because of you lads and how much respect I have for you lads and how we did really well together. Yes, I'll take it on."
Awesome.
And yeah, we're fighting for league, top of league at the moment.
That's awesome, mate.
And another cup quarter final on Saturday. I mean, we lost in quarter final a few weeks ago, but that was against the team division higher. But it's about helping. My motto in coaching, Will, is it's my duty and my job to make the best version of you.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing it. You know, seeing
That's
the
a big way to
progression
do it.
and development is amazing.
What I was going to ask you, right, is for advice on testicular cancer, right?
Yep.
Just for the viewers out there watching, how do you find it on yourself? What should you look out for, type thing? And what do you do? Is there any steps that you use? Any wee tricks to try and keep your mental health positive?
Ooh, that's a good one. So in terms of steps, there is some guides online. I can send some over to you, Will, so you can share them out to your platforms and everything like that, and
Okay.
for listeners. But first step, and that, it's easier said than done, I suppose, in this current climate. But the first port of call is your GP. You
Yeah.
know, if you feel that there's heaviness down below, or you feel that there's something not quite right down there, in a sense of just not the normal way of it feeling down there. Like I say, heaviness can be a big one in that, I feel.
What do you mean by heaviness?
It just feels
We're
full.
not talking blue balls here, are we?
No. I mean, to be fair, one ball's 10 kilo, the other one's, yeah. But balance it, yeah.
Sit and juggle them.
Yeah, it's yeah, it feels more full than normal. That's how I felt, I suppose, is if I felt that it's I know this might put a really weird and it might not be the best way of explaining it, but it's a way that I felt at the time, is that it felt like that there was so much fluid in there that it
Right,
was sort
okay.
of weighing it down, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's one thing to keep an eye out for. As I say, there's the self checks online that you can compare your two testes in that situation. What's in terms of size? I
Yeah.
mean, size can be a bit different. Don't get me wrong, that is natural. But if you feel that there's anything hard down there, maybe.
No, you laughed.
I
Sorry.
didn't mean that. Shit. I
I
didn't mean
didn't
that through,
want.
did I?
Sorry. Sorry, Paul. We just went, wee.
That's what she said. Yeah. Anyway.
If this does get put out, I apologise, viewers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologise as well. There's no
It's actually
excuse.
not a laughing matter, but it's just the way you put it across.
I couldn't think of it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, on that note, yeah.
So, So basically, what I'm asking is there anything you need to feel for? Is there anything? Do you need to look out for any lumps?
I would say, yeah, if you feel that there's a
Anything
lump
weird?
down there.
Anything like that?
I mean, when I say everyone's testicular cancer journey is a bit different. I mean, yes, you probably, if there's a pain slump, maybe.
All right.
Um,
So it's
but that could be
tender to
something
touch
that's,
type thing.
yeah, tender to touch. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is where I was in an awkward situation because unfortunately my tumor grew inside out, so I couldn't really feel it.
All right. Okay.
So it was in for testes as opposed to being on the outer surface. But yeah, so there some things, but as I say, Fumble Friday they call it.
Okay.
So if that means I encourage anyone to check, once every fortnight or once a month. If
Yeah.
there's anything that you're not sure of, or you don't feel that you're doing it right, or I'm not explaining it that well, but even with guys, you can be like, well, that seems a bit confusing. As I say, your GP can be the source of contact for that, in the sense that they can put your mind at ease and they'll be able
Yeah.
to examine if you didn't mind them examining, of course,
Yeah. I thought you were going to
Um,
offer to go around and feel it for them.
You what, sorry?
Offer to go around and feel it for them. Yeah. Oh, feel.
Yeah.
My precious. Oh, God, that
Yeah.
makes me feel.
But I think this is it. They do say normally, again, I suppose this is where you get conflicting opinions of the medical world.
Yeah.
They say a painless lump, and they say that you don't get any pain with down below when you have a lump of that
Yeah.
sort. But I was in agony with it. So,
Possibly because it's on the inside.
maybe. But I'm sure, another thing is to be bearing in mind and make sure that you don't get fobbed off people. People say about, have your tumor markers checked. Okay. Don't just settle for tumor markers, because my tumor markers came back fine. So at the very least, your GP or whoever should be organising at least an ultrasound scan. And ultrasound scans are very harmless. They don't give any radiation. They're not like an X-ray or CT or anything. So, and if it puts your mind at ease, as I say, everyone's different, but I encourage this to any male. Check once a month if you can, if you feel that
Yeah.
you're in a position to do so.
Yeah, because it's something it's very, very serious if it's not caught early enough.
Exactly,
So,
and this is it. Well, I think we said it before, Will, but there's a lot of coverage on prostate cancer, but
yeah.
I don't feel there's enough coverage on testicular cancer, and
Yeah.
testicular cancer needs more emphasis out there just as much.
Wee tips. I just remembered.
Oh, tips,
Tip-
yeah.
Tips on mental health. How do you cope?
This is it. I was in that situation where I was null and void. I didn't show any emotion, but I suppose for anyone else, acknowledge your feelings are normal. If in that respect, that if you feel that something isn't right, it's natural to worry. Don't feel that you're overthinking it or whatever.
Yeah.
It is okay to feel like that. And touch wood, this doesn't. But if I was put in that situation again, I'd feel, well, acknowledge them feelings, register them feelings, and if people or medics say to you, stop worrying, it's in your head, which I've got told so many times.
Mm.
Your body more than anybody else,
Mm.
and there's no harm having these things checked out. It gives you more peace and sanity if anything that you're doing the right thing for yourself.
Definitely, 100%.
So, and yeah, I mean, in terms of the only thing that I suppose that I did was just, I suppose, though I didn't realise it at the time, I was just distracting myself, whether that be on for a computer, even if that meant that I had to do some gaming away from when I wasn't doing for coaching, or listening to music.
Yeah.
Music's very powerful. In any music you listen to, it can be a cure, it can be something you can relate to, and maybe trance music got me through in that respect. Quite heavy stuff, but
So
it's
Spice Girls then.
sorry.
Spice Girls then.
Oh yeah,
Bit of sugar then.
absolutely, absolutely. You're not wrong. I mean, like, yeah, Spice Girls on trance version, but
Right.
but while I think of it as well, can I just give a bit of life advice to your listeners as well, please?
Yeah, feel free.
So I need to
Don't
practice
email
some
us,
more.
no.
So, my advice to you is to make the most of every single living day. Be bold enough to take risks. If you have a career that you want to pursue, go for it. You never know what could come out of it. Learn from other people, create your own story, your own chapters. Don't let others dictate what you should and shouldn't do. Do things what bring the best version of you out, really. Life is not a race, but equally don't stall and wait for things for it to come on the plate. Work hard for it. Meet new people. Make the most of every second. Love those close to you. It's important we go for everything we want in life. One life to live. Make our dreams and aspirations and hopes come true. No one can tell you what a successful life is. No one can tell you what a great life is. No one can tell you how happy to be. No one can, because you are unique. What success is for one may not be for you. What is a great life for another may not be so great for you. Life is for living, and as Ricky Gervais in Afterlife said, life is precious because you can't watch it again. But once you realise you're not going to be around forever, that's what makes life so magical. One day you'll eat your last meal, smell flower for the last time, hug your friend for the last time. You may not know it's the last time. Don't worry about your past. Worry about your present moment and worry about your future because you're not going to be around forever. And that is why you should do you love with passion.
Right, that's beautiful. You're going to make me cry here. That's some wise, powerful words. Some very powerful words. One last thing before we go that I just remembered we've not spoke about. Just quickly, the coin.
Oh yes, a coin story. So it's sort of similar in that respect to that sentiment. But
Okay.
so when I was doing for coaching with for special educational needs or whatever, or for grassroots team, I used to go into my hometown of Upminster, and by the station there used to be this homeless fella called Jeff, and me and Jeff always used to say hello to each other. I used to get him some water or whatever at the time to make him feel a bit more content because obviously it's rough in them situations. But there was one day I sat down next to him and he had like a cup and it's full of coins from people that had donated, well, I say donated, but gave to him in a sense.
Yeah.
And it worked out to be like £5.30 or something. And he gave the cup and he gave it to me. And he went, I want you to have this. I want you to use that for you getting a drink because you've helped me so much. Or I want you to help that for getting waters for your team or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, it's about giving back and everything like that. And I said, no, I can't accept that, Jeff. You need it for yourself. So, I appreciate it, but, and he said, okay, thank you anyway. So I said, before I go, so I got like a 2p coin out of my pocket. And I said, right, let's try and roll this coin, okay? So when you roll a coin, obviously, as you know, and especially sometimes on an uneven surface, it can, not roll straight, right?
Yeah.
So I tried rolling it for once and it just got stuck. And that's what I said to him. You're stuck in this present moment of how you are and what you're experiencing. So let's try and roll it again. So we rolled it again and it veered off to one direction, not straight ahead. And I said, not for One Direction group, by the way, but for one direction to the left. And I said, right, that's your journey in your life. Going to the side, it's not perfect, but you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So keep on going. So we rolled it again, and that's when it went straight. I said, okay, not getting that 2p coin back, but I said, that's you now going straight and narrow. This is where your life changes. And but you're in these cycles, you're going to be in these moments that you're going to be in a rut like that 2p at the start. You're going to be in moments where you go off to the side and don't know what's the right path, if you like. And then he said, like, he said to me then, oh, that's a good way of putting it. Thank you, because it's like thinking to the future and everything. So I said, let's see how things are and assess it. Anyway, after some time, I went into a nearby supermarket in Upminster.
Yeah.
And he popped up to me and he said, that chat you gave to me all the months ago, things have improved. And I want you to know that I've managed to sort myself out. I've managed to find a place that I can get into, and I've now even got a little part-time job. So he said, if it wasn't for you, I'd still be stuck in that rut, like that 2p coin.
Awesome.
So remember, guys, you might feel that you're stuck in life, but bad times and difficult times don't always last forever.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, mate. Couldn't have said it any better. Listen, it's been absolutely wonderful having you on, mate. You've gave us some good wee nuggets there, so you have to think on.
Oh, I fancy chicken nuggets now.
Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
all the mishaps. The mishaps and trauma you've went through. Sorry to hear you've been through so much. But you've came out the other side of it, which is the most important thing. And it's very inspirational, mate. Very inspirational.
I appreciate
So
that. Thank
I
you very
really
much.
appreciate you coming on, especially it being my first podcast as well, mate. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah, and Will, I appreciate you allowing me to come on for your pod. And yeah, I've really enjoyed talking to you, even though it's been really deep. I hope that, you know, it inspires anyone, really, you know, but in the sense to help make a difference in their life, you know,
Yeah.
in
Well,
some
that's the
capacity.
reason. That's the reason I'm doing this, so I can try and get people help through listening to other people's stories, raise awareness for the mental health, and also hopefully stop like suicide and stuff like that. So people know there's people out there for them, and there's people have been through the same experience of that they've been through, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very important. As we said earlier, it's okay to not be okay and reach out.
Exactly. And on that, actually, it's okay to not be okay. There he is. The wee guy down the bottom there. It's okay to not be okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I'll be back again at some point. But until then, everyone, thanks for watching and goodbye from Jordan.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Take care and treat people how you wish to be treated.
Thanks, mate. And a goodbye from me. See you later, guys. Bye.